that you should send max 25 contact requests to people per day if you want to get blacklisted from these platforms and get taken over by a robot.
Time for lunch.
Okay, now it's recording. So good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to this lighting lunch with me. Today, I want to show you some of the tools that I usually try to implement into my everyday that have helped me quite a lot. I have found this through a lot of mentors, also through online resources, and I think it's good to share this kind of information because it can help everybody. And well, a bit introduction about me. I'm David. I come from Ecuador. I am a student from the Technical University of Munich, and I am right now in my second semester of my master's in management. And previously I did food biotechnology, but well, right now I am part of the DPS batch number 15, and I'm glad to share this with some of my colleagues here and friends that I have made during these 3 months. And well, starting with this, the idea is that you gather some of these amazing tools that can help you, and this can automate a lot of your daily work. So the first one I want to show you is the mission from today, is that you can focus yourself onto some of the more demanding tasks that you have, for example, the research, to make the interviews and so on, and not put so much time into, for example, answering emails, having to copyright the information that you collect into another place. And here you can maximize the time that you focus on the deep work and just keep the secondary tasks into background. So first of all, I introduce you to what I think is my holy Bible in this system and what helps me quite a lot, which is Sapir. And Sapir is this API intermediary. So what it does is it's the bridge between different applications. For example, the Google Office suite, also, for example, the Typeform. It has a lot of different already set applications that it has the interface with. And the cool thing is that it can bridge these two systems and create workflows between them. And this allows for many, many different uses. It's very customizable. They have a lot of templates that one can use if you're not sure about what you want to do. But the most interesting thing is that you can set up your own workflows there. And I wanted to show you some examples from that. Some of the ones that are already programmed to be used are sending an email when a new lead comes from different platforms. It can come from TikTok, from Facebook, also from a Typeform respondent. So there are many different interfaces that you can connect here. Then also how you can mix these different calendars from Google into just one by copying a new event into another one. So you don't have to be checking, okay, am I up to date in all my calendars, in all my Google accounts? You can automate this process by using a Sapir. Also, one very useful setting that I found was collecting these Typeform responses as rows on a Google Sheet. You don't have to be checking onto all this information, having to select copy and paste it into different rows. But here you can just automate this process, and you can aggregate all this information into just one place, which is very helpful. If you don't want to be checking, for example, 100 responses, you don't have to be copying all this information by hand. You can just have this all into one place, and you can summarize it and see what are the respondents, the metrics, and also the information that you collect. Also, for example, if you're into content creation, there are some amazing uses like posting into 2 different platforms at the same time, just with a different format. You can set up which is the description. For example, if you want to use hashtags on Twitter or on Instagram, you can select that, or on LinkedIn. You have all these different customization into each post, but you're still sending the same information. So that is also a great alternative there. And finally, for the workflows in the office, or if you want to communicate with some other people, you can select, for example, reminders to everyone about events on Slack. And here you can see that this is blocked to just some platforms that you can work with. But the interesting thing is that you can select, for example, other platforms, so you can have different responses, and you can customize this in order to make this a more personalized process. So this is what I mean by the customization. For example, one interesting use that I was doing the last day was automating an email to send to my friends from my personal email when they have birthdays. It connects with the Google Calendar and also the Google Contact settings, and it just has a reminder for all the birthdays. You can send a personalized message that says happy birthday. You have this space where you can put the contact name, so it looks very personal. It's automatized. You can remember this kind of events, and you don't have to think about it because it's set up for all the other birthdays in the calendar. And this works for personal tasks, also for work tasks. For example, if you have to respond to an email, you can just set the parameters. For example, if it's from some partner, just, okay, let me schedule a calendar meeting with you for when you have time. And I think this is great. You should try this. They have like 100 tasks that you can automate for free, and then you can expand, and they are also very supportive. And also what I recommend to you, this can be a bit overwhelming at first, trying to see, okay, what should I do? What should I work on? But the cool thing is that they have this questionnaire where you can select what are the platforms that you usually work with, what is your role in the team, and they give you suggestions onto which processes to automate so you can rocket power your own productivity and also be more effective into what you're doing. Then I have also other tools that I have learned throughout my career, so to say, that are very useful to me and that I want to share with you. First of all, card.co. I think this is one of the best resources I found to make just quick web pages. For example, a landing page if you're trying to do a prototype, and just link to other places. This is very easy to use. It has a quick interface that you can get accustomed to. You can link to other web pages. You can also buy the domains here. They do the hosting for you. I think it's a great alternative if you want just to put a concept to the test. You can use card.co. And also it helps you with connection to databases that work in the back of it. So you can, for example, collect information in this way, or just user data. And well, this is one of the resources that help me quite a lot. An alternative to this one is Tilda, that is very similar, where you can also store, for example, user information or collecting emails. So you can then start a mailing list, but we will come to that in a bit. Then I wanted to show you Typeform, which is also one of the tools that I use the most. In case you need to collect information, this is very similar to Google Forms, but the interesting thing is that you can make this more personalized. For example, you can put images, GIFs. Also, this allows you to work with the SAPs from Sapir, and then you can collect this information into a database or just a Google Sheets form or an Airtable form. And what I find cool also from this one is that it's very attractive for the user because it invites you with these transitions between the questions and so also the typing spaces. I think it's a better option compared to Google Questions or Google Forms, I think. And well, I recommend this in case that you need to collect some information regarding your product or your partners. I think this is just the best go-to option. Afterwards, Notion, I don't know if you have heard about it, but it's very customizable. At first, it was thought as a wiki where you could just put information, select different pages. But then regarding the possible uses, people started using it to fix their financials, for example, to see their expenses and incomes and organize this here. Also some to-do lists. A lot of startups use this as their own internal wiki pages where they can put their resources and also their to-do list, their internal processes here. It's very good. It also works in order to make web pages. So if you want an easy way to do this, I think Notion is also a great alternative. And what they have been expanding quite a lot in these recent months, and what I saw lately on LinkedIn, is that they are trying also to connect to other platforms. So they are not just working with Notion, so they can connect to other databases, also to connect the Google services into their own platform. So it's pretty interesting what is coming here. I think it's good to get into this platform before it gets mainstream, and I recommend it to you fully. Then some other interesting tool that I haven't used that much, but a friend of mine introduced me to it, was VoiceFlow. where you can create like this voice guidance and also these voice assistants, but all with visual cues. Like you put these steps, you can write there what you want to hear, which is the trigger for the system to activate and to give you a specific response. And I think this is also interesting because you can tinker around with it, see what are the options for you, and it's very interactive in that sense. And then also some of the mailing options, because I know there are a lot of people that are into marketing and also contacting some potential customers or partners. This is great in order to create newsletters. Also, if you prepare the landing page, for example, with card, then you can start an email campaign with the emails that you collected, and it helps you create like a good previews of what the email is going to look like, personalize the information so you can put the name of the person instead of just sending a generalized response. And it also helps you a lot regarding the permissions, for example, the subscribing list, what when the customer wants to get out of this emailing list, and keep an overview of who you're contacting. And well, now closing a bit the presentation, I just wanted to show you some of these tools. Also, if you have some ideas in mind, feel free to share them in this Q&A that we're going to do afterwards. And I think all of these in general just help you develop your personal skills and just have a better work interface. And well, if you have any feedback or questions about them, please let me know. Thanks for being here in this lightning launch.
Thank you. That was lightning quick. Thanks for the insights. I personally use if this, then that. So something similar to Sapir. And I find it really helpful when, I don't know. I use it, for instance, whenever I post something to Instagram, that it is also posted to Facebook, because I don't trust that Facebook internal link up of these two platforms. Pretty handy. Also for Slack notifications whenever somebody fills in a form, a Typeform, for instance.
The Typeform is very cool. I think that's useful.
So do we have any questions? No, we have a thank you. So when did you come across Sapir? What was your first usage for that?
Sapir came through a mentoring that I had after I went to a conference. And he started showing me a lot of tools in the LinkedIn Sales Navigator and just trying to find potential partners and customers, trying to streamline who you're looking for using these commands in the search engine, and then automating the contact responses to them. Also trying to take care, because he explained to me that it's easy to automate these processes, but they can ban you from the platforms if you send too many emails at once, or if you are like too persistent with the emails. So he also explained me, for example, some limits that you should send max 25 contact requests to people per day if you don't want to get blacklisted from these platforms and get taken over by a robot. And at first I was just playing around with it, for example, looking at people that went to this conference or that were part of this organization and just sending email, LinkedIn requests through here by finding these parameters and then trying to automate this process. And lately I haven't really used it, to be honest. I think those are interesting, but in my role right now as a PM, I haven't found the necessity to automate some tasks in that sense. Maybe I will try with the Typeform to try to collect information from car industry people and experts in the dismantling lines. But for the moment, it has been pretty in the back. But it's cool to have them at hand just in case they're necessary.
Yeah. Speaking of PM stuff, aside from the personal productivity and workflow, I find things like Zapier or if this and that pretty awesome, because it enables you to basically bootstrap your product ideas and try out how they would work. Yeah, for instance, when we founded DPS, we built our entire recruitment channel with Zapier. Typeform, Zapier then creating Trello cards so that we had the overview, what is the status of the applicants and stuff like this. And so it helps you to basically build MVPs to try out things or to get your head around certain workflows, how that could be built before you're actually building it.
Exactly. I think it's also cool the recommendations that they give you in Sapir after taking the questionnaire, because they give you quite a lot of ideas onto what the process should be, what is still pending for you to do. And it's quite a helpful guide into the coming steps or what features you're still missing, for example, in an MVP or your product or website, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. And what's also interesting for lean startups is that Zapier enables you to use several tools that do just a small thing, but maybe for free, and chain them together so that you can actually develop a powerful application without paying anything.
That's true.
So very cool. So let me check if there are any questions. So to the lunch people, do you want to ask anything to David? No? Then I think you've earned your lunch, David.
Perfect. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for coming, people.
Bye.